Imagine that you and your friend are going on a camping trip, and you have plenty of food and equipment for the 3 days you'll spend in the great outdoors. Once you and your friend are near the campsite, your friend suddenly sees a much better spot further up a large hill, but you say that part of the park is known to have poison ivy. You both get into a small argument, and it culminates in your friend splitting up from the group and trying to set up camp himself in the hope of getting a much better view of the park. Of course, he comes back to you later and he's all covered in rashes. And for the rest of the trip, no one's happy. Consider this distant allegory as your friend being the British in the Dodecanese campaign. Hi, my name is Handy History, and I'm here today to teach you about history that isn't quite so handy to begin with, but I'm sure you'll appreciate. Let's set the stage for this. It's 1943 and Tunisia has just fallen to the Allies, leaving the entirety of the Axis power's southern flank exposed for many delicious landing opportunities. The Italian Navy has mostly been confined to their ports, and the Mediterranean is like a sandbox where you can basically do anything. Anything's possible. A landing in Yugoslavia, Greece, Vichy France, and maybe even Sicily. Eisenhower chose the last of the aforementioned. After all, the opportunity to finally knock out one of the major Axis powers from the war and open up the soft underbelly of Europe was an enticing offer for the Allies. Meanwhile, British Prime Minister Winston Churchill saw another opportunity, however, in the Aegean Sea to the east. More specifically, he saw the inherent strategic value of the Dardanelles and sought a method to use it to try and advance the Allied cause. Again. This time, instead of landing in Gallipoli, Churchill wanted to seize the Italian-occupied Dodecanese Islands. To him, this meant the possibility of opening up an alternate route for convoys headed to the Soviet Union, as the route around German-occupied Norway was where those big scary German battleships were. In the best-case scenario, Churchill envisioned the operation successfully persuading neutral Turkey to join the war. Somehow. His proposal to the Americans for their material support was declined, mainly because the invasion of Italy was still ongoing at the time, and was the primary destination for any incoming supplies. The Americans saw this as an offshoot adventure that they thought wasn't really worth the Allies' time and effort, and it was a dilemma that the British began to face. Did they want to open up another front for potentially greater gain, or would they rather focus on what they had on pushing into Italy? They chose the latter, and quickly gathered the ships needed for the operation about a week before the Italians finally coughed up that armistice. For the operation they gathered about 5,300 men, and it was expected that an impending Italo-German split would mean the Italian garrisons stationed all over the Dodecanese would join them. And, to give credit to the British, they were largely right, but what they failed to account for were the German soldiers who were on the island as well, and on top of this, German High Command was expecting the Italian armistice for some time, and were looking to seize control of the strategic area. The largest of these formations was the Sturm Division Rhodos, commanded by Lieutenant General Ulrich Kleemann, which numbered out about 7,500 men strong, and was stationed on the largest and most valuable of the Dodecanese Islands. He took the initiative on the 9th of September, and turned German guns onto their Italian allies, forcing them to surrender 2 days later, leaving Rhodes firmly in Axis control. Though this did little to dissuade the British, and they pressed forward with landings on multiple of the Dodecanese Islands, but the ones which saw the largest combat actions were the islands of Kos and Leros. The forthcoming battles are what we will cover in the next video. I hope you enjoyed this brief topic, and I hope you stay a while. Hit that like, subscribe, and click the bell so you'll be notified whenever part 2 comes out. My name is Handy History, and I hope you have a good day.